welcome back. Jim Estrada back with us.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm really good.
Good. Enjoying the...
Been really enjoying the weather.
Yeah?
Yeah. Been working too much,
you look
but
relaxed.
life has been good.
You look relaxed, ready to go.
Yeah, you do too. Good color.
It's called a lot of golf. As my wife would say, when do you go to work? Well, Jim, that's a whole other topic also. Jim Estrada joins us, who's been inspecting homes for 10 years, has performed over 3,500 inspections. And, Jim, I guess when you start thinking about buying or selling a house, the inspection is such a big piece of that. But before you go sell your house, it's really all about maintaining the house so the inspection is good when the buyer comes to inspect it, isn't it?
Well, that is true. I had a couple of thoughts as Mike was talking earlier, and also Matt, in terms of expenses and stuff. A lot of people don't think about, and I had never heard until about 10 years ago, wish I would have heard it years and years ago, but when you buy a house, and if you're taking on a $2,000 mortgage as an example, your typical maintenance expenses to take care of that house generally is going to run you about 25-30% of your mortgage. So $500 to $600 a month on average. Now, obviously, some months you go through and you don't have any expenses. Other months they're going to be big expenses. So you need to kind of budget that into your scenario. The other thought I was having too is I was at a house yesterday actually doing an inspection, and it was a bank foreclosure, and I was walking around the back of the deck and noticing the deck was real wavy. And I was amazed when I had looked at the deck and walked inside. It was a 3-story deck. And
what do you mean wavy? Like the wood wasn't lined up properly?
The wood was actually dipping down, and as we started to look at the understructure, it was totally rotted, and the joist, the metal brackets that are holding the joist, the floor joists and stuff, were actually pulling away from the beams.
3 stories up?
3 stories up, and I was amazed that the bank had not chained those doors closed from allowing people to walk on it. Unfortunately, I didn't walk on it. I saw this before. So just kind of buyer beware. When you're out there looking at banks and foreclosure sales and stuff, there is a lot of stuff out there, even when you're looking at a normal home sale. Be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who don't maintain their house, and I know, we just kind of went through it. We got a whole bunch of things done, but they start to add up. It's not inexpensive to maintain a house.
No, it's not, and it also just takes a lot of little efforts, little forethought. I had kind of made a list of a few little things, just like a lawnmower as an example. A lot of people like to get out and mow their lawn, and then at the end of the year, they just kind of throw it in the shack, and then they bring it out in the springtime, and it doesn't start. And simple little things is just draining the gas tank, or shutting it off, letting it run until it is empty, or adding a gas conditioner. And when you add that gas conditioner, you actually want to let it run through the system for 1 or 2 minutes so that it actually cleans out the carburetor.
You ever use that spray stuff on that makes it fire right up?
Oh, yeah. God, I used to do that all the time. I forget what that was. But, yeah, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on how long it's been sitting. When you also do that, too, it's not a bad idea if you want to take good care of your machine to pull out your spark plugs, put a drop of oil, and then fire that up and let it lubricate all the cylinders and stuff, because it's going to be sitting for a long time. And I was getting this report ready. I was thinking, I've had a landscaper all year this year and haven't used my machine and didn't even fire it up this spring. It was all kind of set, so we'll find out how well mine does. I'll report back to you next month.
Yeah, definitely. Go fire that puppy up.
Yeah, kind of crazy deal on that.
What about, we're kind of talking about keeping a yard. I mean, aren't there other things you need to do to maintain your yard?
Well, besides calling that phone number to get somebody out there to take care of it, or getting out there and getting dirty yourself, fertilizing your yard is always a big part of taking care of a yard and having it look nice. Of course, also water, and it just a function if people can afford water. I drive around Seattle, and I always get so disappointed because when I was a kid growing up here, everybody could afford to water their lawns, and now the city is actually telling you, we need to conserve water, so nobody ever waters their lawn. But if you're going to have a green lawn, you need to make sure you have a good fertilizer. The nitrogen is actually going to give you your color and your good look. The phosphorus is going to give you the strength or the endurance of the actual grass itself. But you got to be careful with phosphorus if you're around wells or lakes and those kinds of property.
Are less and less people watering their lawns? I mean,
we're on the east side, and it seems like everybody has sprinklers and watering's going on all the time. But over in Seattle, Nobody waters. I drive around neighborhood after neighborhood, and it's terrible. And, it's bad enough to have brown grass.
It comes back, it goes, it comes back.
Well, that's true, but they never ever take care of their weeds either. I mean, it's unsightly.
Yeah. Oh, those Seattle people.
I know, they're just
those Seattle people. What are the other big pieces? You actually said something about like the caulking. I mean, you have a lot of water coming around the house.
Well, you have all kinds of areas, and this is the time of year, end of August, first part of September. That's just a great idea to walk around the exterior of your house and check your caulking. Now, obviously, all year round, in terms of just kind of keeping an eye on your bathrooms, I find more rotted floors when I'm doing inspections around bathrooms and toilets and those kinds of things. And a lot of it just having to do with caulking, kids throwing out water, and they could care less. They don't ever wipe it up. It just sits there and kind of weeps right in, especially if the caulking is cracked. And most people do not really know how to do caulking. One of the things
you just spray it around and then wipe it with your finger to make it all even?
Well, that's
is that right?
You can make it work like that. That's the question is can you make it look good?
No.
Okay, and that's really
my delicate touch, Jim.
Yeah, I understand. One of the biggest things people forget to do is just clean up the old stuff. Cut it out, clean it up, make sure you get the right caulking. Make sure you cut the tube at the right angle and the right size so you get a good bead of the size that you need. But I think probably the best trick really is to get some good painter's tape and actually tape it off the areas that you want the caulking to go in and put that in there. And when you get done, you can wipe off from the tape and then peel the tape off and you'll have a nice straight line.
Yeah. So these are, we're kind of, we're talking about, your lawn, we're talking about your lawnmower, we're talking about the caulking around the different spots of the, different spots of your house. It's interesting that when you think about the areas of a house that need to be maintained, some of this isn't really just winter or fall. These are parts of your house that just your house wears out. It's used. It's like a shoe.
House is a living, breathing organism, and it's flexing and changing with the humidity, with the temperatures, with the movement. You have a big crowd of people in the house, and just the extra weight will change the weight of things. And if you put in, for talking of weight, if you're ever going to throw in a nice big granite countertop, make sure your floors can support it. A lot of times you end up with a bow in the floor.
Good to know. We're here with Jim Estrada, owner and lead inspector of Property Inspector LLC. Jim, we have a couple minutes left. Okay, so we know that the storms have been worse here the last few years. You start to see more rain, lightning showers. We had a couple months ago, it was like a middle of Oklahoma summer thunderstorm here. What do you see as far as that being an issue?
Well, I think probably the biggest thing is the inconvenience of losing your power. We've had, seems like about every 4 to 5 years, we have a major storm in the greater Seattle area. And I was out in Woodinville and have been for a lot of years. 10 years ago, I think it was.
Still watering their lawns out in Woodinville.
Yeah, we still are. But 10 years ago, we actually had a storm and I was out of power for 10 days. So anyway, I've invested in a generator, and there are a lot of different ways you can go with generators. I didn't buy a huge thing. I bought a 25-watt generator, 2,500-watt generator. And when you want a generator, you just kind of need to size it and figure out how often you're going to use it. It was enough to run 3 refrigerators, TV, computers, couple of lights.
The important stuff. Keep your beer cold, and make sure that the TV is still on, huh?
Well, and make sure that you don't throw out $1,000 worth of food from your freezer and all that kind of stuff.
That is true.
It is really, really important. And you can find the charts online. Just to give you an idea, obviously light bulbs, if it says it's 100 watts, it takes 100 watts to run that. Refrigerators, they have a surge amount where they'll start out and they might pull 1,600 when they start up, but then they're only going to run about 800 as they're running. So you can actually get quite a bit of juice out of a smaller generator.
Interesting. Well, Jim, thanks for joining us.
Hey, good to see you.
Stick around for just a few minutes, if you would. We're going to bring Mr. Matt Royal back to the mic, and we'll discuss some more things that are going on. We'll be right back after this break.